Boom, 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 peace. Everybody good? Peace, peace, peace. Everybody good? Can everybody hear me? It's loud. Told y'all, man, I can do this every day. We're gonna teach. Can everybody hear? I'm sure everybody can hear. A minute. I think that's better. Hold on 1 second. Okay, hold on. Let me see something. All right. Hold on more. Okay, that's cool. I see it now. Okay. Everybody good? Remember, Moors, we Moors, and we do a thing a certain way. And the way we do things may not be an orthodox way or some person's religious way. We do things the Moorish way. And if Moors are adepts, we should understand this science, what I'm saying. We gotta stop letting people play with Moorish science, man, acting like Moorish science is some like get out of a jail free card, like being a Moor has to do with you being a criminal or anything. That's not what we're about, man, and that's not what none of these lessons should be teaching anyone. This is not no magical, no law, no fake law. Anytime somebody demonstrating some fake stuff, talk about, oh, look at this paperwork. We got somebody to claim their nationality and they got out of jail. Man, a whole bunch of stuff be fraudulent concealment. And entertainment, man. We got to be way smarter than that. Because the only person that get hustled is the person that I feel that want to get hustled. You know what I mean? So we must be clear on things when we talk about things and when we don't have experience. And if we don't have experience, don't take things personal, because we're trying to build this body, y'all, and it only should take us a calendar year. I'm telling you, a lot of Moors are just going to be looking on the outside. I promise you, man. We must take these teachings, and once we perfect ourselves, it must go to something else bigger than us. And that's building, being self-sufficient, following under a certain auspices, man. It's only right. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong for us to be under a certain auspices of somebody that's righteous and that has the experience in building and taking things and the science to a next level. like having our own temple, having our own building, having our own education, being able to teach our children, showing what group economics can really can really do under a certain and a particular tax bracket, teaching law and not playing with people, not using linguistic apartheid and some fake etymology to get people twisted up, not doing business. You'll never achieve nothing in the physical if you don't understand business. Never. And just like when Moors want to use things over your head, when I said certain words mean different things in different sciences, like in business, in law, and just like in common law, a certain particular word or a particular phrase can mean something totally different. Just like in the Hebrew dialect, you cannot transliterate Hebrew to modern English because it can mean 10 different things depending on the context. So it's a particular science and a particular craft that we must be initiated in. And the initiation is the science and must be willing to become a student. And that's what I tell everyone. Why wouldn't we want to be a student? Come on my YouTube page, Noble. Why wouldn't we want to be a student? That's just like a person, and let's use martial arts in this context, what I'm using. So if we use martial arts, and here you come saying it's not about degrees, and this person been studying for 20 years, and you come with him like, oh, you finna beat someone, the first thing he's gonna know, he's gonna look at your posture and know you ain't even ready for him. So he might not even attack you. He might just defend you, and his defense will hurt you. So what I'm saying, Moors, is there's no quick way. A lot of things we do shouldn't just be fashion. Anybody say they don't want to be under particular degrees and be initiated, that means they're lazy. And you should want to have particular degrees. That's how you climbing up that totem pole. That's only righteous. And when we hear a real scholar and a real educator speak, especially a Moor that has a particular craft, we should know the difference. We should. When I say I am particular, I am meek. I am cut from a different cloth. Yeah. It's just what it is. Especially when it comes to the science. When I tell y'all nothing is secret with me, but it's sacred. And the teaching must be taught if you love the light. If you don't love the light, then these teachers are not for you. Continue to do what you're doing. But right here, we're trying to build and we can show this movement what it's really about. And teach these degrees from love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and move on. So let me jump in with our Moorish American prayer and my benediction, and we're going to jump right into this science. Thanks for the donation. Like I said, I don't ask people to do things if they don't want to. I'm a real organization. If you want to give a donation, whatever it is you want, Cash App $KG Bay, and I'll send you some literature. You must email me. Email me and let me know who you are if I can PDF you some science. That's what I tell people. Whatever it is on that Allah blesses you or put it on your heart to say, hey man, I want to help this movement, because I've been following the teachings, and that's what I tell. And this is the thing, and I'll use the analogy of courting. And all a person have to do is say yes or no. If a person been on here and on this page, just like, and you won't hear multiple times, more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times, more than 4 times, more than 5 times, more than 6 times, more than 7 times, the next question I'm gonna ask you is, what are you here for? That's the thing, because if we hear just the piggyback and I say we trying to do something, I gotta block you. And it's no disrespect to no one. It's no disrespect to no one. Just like I told the people, if you were physically here in Arizona, Goodman, KHARY @gmail.com. Because just like I tell people, if you was physically here in Arizona, if you was physically here, would you come to my temple? Yes. Would you give a donation? Yes. I have the right to ask you that. If you come to my auspices and you come in multiple times and you just there, and I'm like, do you like the teachings? Do you want to be part of this? And the person don't say nothing to me, where I gotta be like, man, the doors are closed because everybody here is sacrificing something. Everybody here is sacrificing something. Everybody here is sacrificing something. And that's all I'm telling people. I'm not harsh. I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to show us what we can do with the right people. I ain't talking about the whole world. I look at the world as the world, my brothers and sisters Moors that I'm talking to here, and my family that's rocking with what we doing. So that's what I have to ask people. It ain't no disrespect to no one. And that's why I say I'm not here for likes. I'm not here for followers. I can care less about that. Because if a person can have 100,000 followers and we can have 100 members and people that's rocking with us, and we can change this whole movement, and they can have their followers. So that's what I be asking people, if especially they come on the page, no disrespect, and they don't say nothing, and they don't say Islam Noble, my name is such and such, such and such. You jump right on the page and don't even introduce yourself. And I said we should have some class about it, because this is a form of communication. This is a form of communication right now. How? We're networking. So if we're not going to have no form of class, and we're just going to be almost, how can I use it, coming into the classroom without introducing ourselves, I think that's no class. Because I wouldn't come in your domains, or I wouldn't come into your room without introducing you myself and say what I'm looking for, and say what I'm here. I'm a teacher. I'm a Buddha. I'm here for the people that want me. I'm not here for public and debate no one. So if a person like the teachings, the next thing I gotta ask is, why are you a student, and why don't you want to be a student? That's my thing. So I'm gonna say this one more time. People that come on my page, no disrespect to you. What I tell people, I'm a teacher and I have at least 35 students. I have to ask you, what are you looking for? Just like if I was a sensei and I say I'm a master teacher in the martial arts, and you come into my classes and you've been coming and I let you come several times and you don't want to become a student and a member, I got to close my doors on you because you playing, and everybody else here is sacrificing something. So that's what I be saying about the dedication and what are we here for? Because if you're here just to listen to something and jump all over, I'm not for you, and I must delete you. And I told Moors, y'all have my email. If you don't email me and be like, man, this is what I want to do and what we trying to do, and you want to come on here and don't give donations to this movement, I got to block you. And that's my right, because this is my page. This is our movement. There's plenty of people on YouTube just talking. I ain't here just to talk. And so I'm drawing the line right here. What are you here for? A couple people been on here 5 times. I'm telling you now, because I know who you are. There's no disrespect. Some people, this their second time. No disrespect. After this, I have to block you, because I'm not here for that. Because if you was in physically here in Arizona and you was coming to my temple and people was inviting you and you came multiple times, you wouldn't want to be a part of this. If you say no, well, man, what's the purpose? Why would you even be coming to something that you don't even agree with? What would be your purpose? And this is what I be telling people about when we talk about the manifestations, about organization. A lot of people don't like organization, because with organization, it comes accountability. When we in a family or tribe, it's accountability. We're Moorish, it's accountability. It's the way we do a particular thing. So what I'm telling my brothers and sisters, if this is not for you, that's fine. But I guarantee you, I can't grab your hand and everybody else is sacrificing and just bring you along for the ride. No disrespect to no one. No disrespect to no one, because we will pay finances to listen to a scam artist and get some ID, and we won't donate to an organization for the teachings. I think that's backwards. So let's get to the teachings. Let's get into our Moorish American prayer. We're going to teach the teachings. The Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read the proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, or in their homes, or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out divine pleas to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the temple. In protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of Noble Jew Ali. Our Moorish American prayer. I'm going to tell you why we don't stand to the east, why we all really to the east. I'm going to explain this in the teachings. And then you can go out, and when somebody telling you false teachings, or slave teachings, you can correct them with what? The word, the teachings. For nobody can come to you with no pseudo or no ritualistic, or how can I say, traditional stuff. Because tradition don't mean valid. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. So, let me get my benediction, because certain things I like to put in the atmosphere. I like to put positive vibes. So, for my fellow Moors, brothers and sisters, may the benediction of Allah be upon you and you always, as we all should strive to be a credit to Allah. When we say Allah in Moorish science, that means arm, leg, arm, head. That means manifestation of man. Make haste to bestow the acts of love upon our brother and all our sisters and all the children. And we shall all do our best to shun all evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that ye might nourish the souls of all men. Let the truth be thy shield in the manifest battles of falsehood. Knoweth that we need not Moors pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. Why, you may ask, Moors? For behold, the key to salvation already rests within our own hands. That's why when I use the phrase, or when I use the analogy, nothing is secret with me. It's sacred because I hold it dear, but nothing is secret. Why? Because if it's sacred and I have the key, I should be helping you unlock the door. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconsistency, there is still the greater part of our nature that is divine. Yes, come on my YouTube page as well, and like and thumbs up so we can get this going. May Allah, may Buddha, may Confucius, may Yahweh, may Muhammad, whatever manifestation you give it glory. Because if you study real more science, you know what I'm saying is 100% valid based off our teachings. We don't disrespect no laws and the prophets. And then I tell Morris, how can you believe in a God you never seen, but hate your brother that you see every day? That don't even make sense. To me, in science, that's an idiot. That's stupid. You're going to argue over some God you ain't never seen, but then I tell you, God works through man. We're not understanding the psychology. We got to understand that, yes, it's a creation and it's a creator, and we let it fall right there. We let that fall right there, because this splendor universe, this magnificent conception that the great God Allah have manifested from his bosom can't be questioned. Can't be questioned. So, if Moors don't have my book, I promise you, you need the Moorish Americans, Light of Ali, and the Moorish Adept Study Guide, the House of Ali and the Mysticism, the Egyptian Adept, Prophet and Angel. You need this. You need, these are must. I can't say this too many times. You need these. These are teachings you must have. So this is the stuff I call elementary. You must have the training wheels. You must have the elementary science. That's why in our science, when we say elementary elements, these are the elements. These are the basics. And most individuals are not even on the elementary science. You must have this, so no one can come to you with no garbage. You gotta have this, Moors. You gotta have this. You must have the interpretation of the divine creed of Moorish Islam. You must have this. You must have this. And I don't put my books on Amazon where I'm charging like this is some for-profit organization. Man, I'm non-profit. I ask for donations. That's why I say, man, do Lamborghini do commercials? Do Bentley do commercials? No, you can directly with me. So the analogy, what I'm saying is, I'm my own boss. I'm not out here for profit. I created the science for donations. I created an organization. I spent my funds to create an organization. We're taxes in for the federal government, religious, charitable, scientific, education. That's what I am. This ain't no for-profit organization. That's why I tell Moors when I say, I don't put my books on Amazon. Why? There's no need. I ask for donations, and Moors can get the science for donations. That's why I say Moors must be members. And I told y'all, in a minute, everybody's going to be gone. I'm not going to be on here live. We're going to be on our webpage for our members and students, because there's certain people that's sacrificing. So you need the Moorish America's Light of Ali and the Moorish Adapt Study Guide, the House of Ali and Mysticism. You need this. I'm not even going to go all into it, but you need it. Interpretation of the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. You need this. This training wheel stuff. You need that. Sufism and the triple rows of the Adapt chamber, featuring the Comedian and Adapt manual and the use of our carpenter tools. You need this. For you can shut all bull crap down. This is training wheel science. I haven't even got into the third heaven science yet. And I know the average Moor do not know what I'm talking about. Why? Because y'all dealing with more scam artists, thinking they finna give you a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, making you some fake ID. That's why Moors can get with me, and if they honest, I tell Moors they can get all my, I done gathered and compiled maybe 20 books. A lot of them I haven't even finished putting them in a PDF yet. But we got like 14 famous Asiatics, scientists in history, black scholars who debunked it, Eurocentric propaganda. We got our vegan cookbooks, vegan snack books. I got a workout book. It's called Healthy Eating and Living. When I show a lot of my workouts and a lot of my smoothies that I use, that I drink right here every day. Ask my family, I do the same thing every day. I'm a machine, man. So there's no reason for Moors to be confused. Just these three science books alone, every Moor should have. Now, I could be like some individuals, be on Amazon selling their books, their connotated books for $60 and $80, but I don't do that. I tell Moors, hey, if you send a donation and you honest, you can get all 3 of my books for like $40 a donation. Sufism and the triple roll of the Adapt chamber, featuring the Comedian Adapt manual and the use of our carpenter tools. I'm telling you. So there's no reason for us to be confused. Most Moors, like even the books that most of my students have, most people don't even have them. And I'll be like, y'all don't have these books? Most Moors don't have a lot of Moors don't have the Moorish Quran. They don't have a Quranic study guide. They don't have a catechism to understanding the Quran. They don't have the discover key questions. They don't have the SO science. They don't have the resurrection. I'm like, so Moors, y'all don't have the science. Y'all don't have the Adapt wisdom. I'll be like, oh, so a lot of things we don't have. And I'm like, wow. So I asked Moors, what are you studying? Because the temple ain't the building. We can have the temple anywhere. The temple is the head that's teaching the science. And we can organize and have the temple anywhere. That's why I said it's the teachings. And the teachings are ancient. I demonstrated that the other day when our prophet said, I showed y'all these teachings are ancient. The author of the Quranic Gospels attested to that. Unto the I grant testify to that. Our prophet testified to that. These are old teachings. Even in the introduction of the Quran, he tell you where they was hidden at. And then all the old science, it testifies if you understand the language. I synchronized it the other day. I synchronized this science so many times. So we're going to build on 2 particular subjects. We're going to build on our Moorish Salawat, and we're going to build on how Prophet Muhammad taught the highest degree of prayer. When you be letting these Negroes tell y'all it wasn't a form of prayer. It wasn't a form of things, how we did it. And how holy men did a particular craft. And then I'm going to show you 2 things when I say now we're Moors and we do things the Moorish way. Because when somebody tell you something and I say now, would you stand on that? And a person be like, yeah, I stand on that. I say, well, can you show me where that's at? They can't show you. And I say, what you just did is brought some slave teachings. Because what you just said is nowhere in no teachings. And we're going to show y'all that. And it's nothing to disagree with. Only thing a person to do is just base things on a belief system. And I don't have no time to argue with an idiot. I ain't wasting my time. You shouldn't waste yours neither. So like I said, no disrespect. It's a couple people that have been following here for a couple days. And I ask you, I hope you're here to be educated. And I will hope you will give an offering if you came to the temple. So after a while, it's my right to ask, what's the purpose? If you're here just to listen, let me know that, for I can deal with you in a particular way. So I won't deal with you in a particular fashion as it's family and we're teaching. Because I told you, most people that deal with me, we're sacrificing a particular thing. Most people that deal with me, they deal with me no matter where they at. They say, there ain't no temple in there. I'm a part of this temple because I'm giving you the teachings. No matter, we're using the technology. So I hope Moors understand what I'm teaching and what I'm delivering. So when we talk about the Moorish Salah, which a lot of Moors, I know a lot of Moors they don't do. I know a lot of Moors they don't pray, they don't give their Salah and they don't meditate, and they get caught up in catchphrases. But in the Moorish Science Temple of America, you know, it's been taught to give praise to Allah a minimum of 3 times a day. And this is what we were taught in these teachings in our movement. Now one may give praise or go to Allah in prayer anytime one feels the need. And if you feel to do that more, you may do that right now. When I tell a person, I would never tell a person when to do things. But when a person say, this is how you should do this based on this, I got to destroy that. Because if you want to give salat right now, at any time, man, you are God at all times. Handle it. Because God and Allah is in the heart. And don't nobody tell you when you give praises. I'm doing it right now. But we do understand this particular way, how we do things 3 times a day. And this is what I teach. Once when we get up in the middle of your day, and once before we lay back down. Remember what I said, you can do things however you want to. And if you feel the need to do a particular thing and a particular ritual that put you in your higher self, well, in the great God Allah, do so. But I'm telling you what thing that you don't have to do when a person try to put things on you and try to give it as law. And when I say, no, 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 it's not in there. I'll be like, it's not in there. So, as we demonstrate this science, Moors, some have tried to say, thank for the donation, Moor. Some have tried to say, oh, it's Cash App $ KGB. But some have tried to say, this is not the orthodox way to perform salat, rakat, sirah, dua, or anything else pertaining to that particular fashion of prayer. And that is true. But however, Moors, Muslims of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we do things in a particular fashion. And our way is not orthodox way. We do it in the right way, according to our Holy Quran, the Al-Quran, the Al-Diyam of Mecca. And anyone that has a problem with that, that's their problem, and not mine or yours. Especially if you're under the right auspices and the right teachings. When I tell Moors, this ain't no Islam stuff. This ain't no outer body stuff. I hope y'all understand that. If you think God and man is not one, that's true shirk. This ain't no pie in the sky God. But what I do here, for your further understanding, I must go through the teachings of our Quran. When I give y'all the great Quran of Muhammad in 1587, write that down, Surah 1587, and I show you why we only do 3 minimum. Why we only do 3 minimum, even though I don't have a problem, like I said before. Listen to what I say. I don't have a problem with nobody giving homage or giving salat to how many times. I don't give a damn if you do it 1,000,000 times in 1 minute. That's on you. But don't let nobody tell you this is law, because we'll destroy that. So let's finish. But I don't have a problem with a Moor doing the 5 traditional salats. Salat. You see those in the East doing. You can look up, when I know most Moors, I call them Wikipedia Moors. When they look on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia ain't no authority on anything of Islam, I call them lazy Moors. I call them shake weight Moors. I want you to read this from those sites, and it can give you stuff. You know what I mean? This is what things tell you. Salah is prescribed at 5 periods of the day as part of tradition. Keeping your head tradition. I hope you know what tradition means. However, the Quran only calls for 3. Nobody can refute facts. If anybody want to rock with that, that's their religion. You shake their hand and keep it pushing. which are measured according to the movement of the sun, which is according to the movement of the sun. These are near dawn, the Fajr or the Fajr, just after the sun's noon, the Dur, the Dhuhr, in the afternoon of the Asr or the Asr, the Asr, just after the sunset, and the Maghrib, and around nightfall, or Isha, or Isha, Isha, apostrophe A. And under some circumstances, prayers can be shortened or combined, right? According to procedures. And prayers can be missed in serious cases, but should be made up later. So watch this, y'all. Watch this science. So you got to understand the science when it says that the 5 daily salats are part of tradition. Keep that in your hippocampus. Your hippocampus is your memory. The 5 daily salats or salawats, whatever you want to say, are part of tradition, meaning they are not actual law. They are not actual fard or halal. They do not have to be performed according to the Quran. I don't care if you use the K or the Q. And note that it's also mentioned that only 3 periods of time are mentioned. And if you look, Moors, if you study for yourself, because I want you to think, you will see nowhere in the Quran does it say you have to perform a ritual of a qiyam, a ruka, a qiyam, or siddha, or sajda, or jasa. None of that. The 5 or 7 pillars as pillars is not found in the Quran with the K or the Q. Nowhere in either. All of this is tradition, not law. It's not far or halal. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, especially if you study. Ask your imam. Don't get mad at the teachings. The teachings should illuminate and liberate. Not get you upset if you're looking for the light. Because I told y'all, this Moorish science ain't no religion. The salat of the Muslim may differ from another in minor details, which can affect the precise actions and words involved. Watch this. Differences arise because of different interpretations of Islamic, right? Legal sources by the definition, madhabs, M-A-D-H-H-A-B-S, schools of law in Sunni Islam, and by different legal tradition within Shiism. So in the case of the salat, these differences are generally very minor, and they are not necessarily cause of dispute. But it is important to note the reason why Sunni Muslims have a basic agreement on the necessary part of the prayer. And Muslims believe that the Prophet Muhammad practiced, taught, and disseminated the worship ritual in the whole community and made it part of their life. But the practice has, Moors, therefore been concurrently and perpetually practiced by the community in each of the generations. So in its basic form, the salah is not based on the hadith or the Quran, but on the conscience of Muslims. Differences also occur due to optional or recommended rather than obligatory articles of salah. For example, Moors, which verses of the Quran to recite. The different performances of salah varies from one Muslim group to another. Why, you may ask? Because it is not in the Quran. It's only tradition. If y'all feel what I'm saying, y'all should be saying Islam something. And the most universal accepted tradition is what? The Orthodox. But that doesn't make it right. If we say we Quran, if only thing that make it right is the Quran. The only thing that make it right is the Quran. Can make it law, fard or halil. The Quran, not nobody belief. If it ain't in there, what is it standing on? It's false teachings. It's a belief system. Just like when our grandmas cut the turkeys or our great grandmas cut the turkeys back in the day. And I say that's tradition because today we got big conventional ovens and y'all got them big pans. You ain't got to do that no more. So notice, Moors, it says Muslims believe. When I say your belief system can be based on the balai. Believe that the Prophet Muhammad practiced, taught, blase splee, or etc. it does not say that they have any actual record of this, which is why the Salat varies from one to another, Moors, and y'all know I'm telling you the truth. Because they are putting different pieces together in order to create their own idea of Salat. Notice, Moors, also in the teachings, in its basic form of the Salat, is not based on the Hadith or the Quran. So you should meditate on that. If it's not based on no Hadith and on the Quran, man, I didn't even think about that. Then what is the source of the science? What is the root? What is the root of the teachings? Because certain individuals, a lot of religious people that believe in things outside of themselves, they will act like you must do it how they say, or you're going to some hell. Well, I say you in hell right now if you believe that garbage. Now let's look at the facts and look at the science. The numbers of regular salat mentioned by their respective names in Arabic in the Quran are 3 as follows. The Salat Fajr or Fajr, S-A-L-A-T, F-A-J-R, that's the dawn prayer. That's in your Quran 24 and 58. Salat al-Wusta, that's the middle prayer. That's in your Quran 2:38 and 17 and 78. That's your Salat Isha, the night and the evening prayer. That's in your Quran 24 and 58. So don't get mad at me when I'm illuminating these false teachings. You must be educated. I thought you wanted to walk in the light. Who want to walk with their eyes wide shut? Who want to think they a grandmaster? And then when you come into a group of grandmasters, when it's time to lay it on the line, you get your butt handed to you because your teacher been out there playing. He ain't teaching you no real science. He just conning you. So go to these ayats. Go to these ayats right now. I say you got to have a pencil and paper when I speak because I give you peer-reviewed scholarly research. I want you to think. I want you to be able to go to those teachers and read it for yourself. I want you to read it for yourself so it can go into your bosom and you can meditate on it and you can chew it up and you can it can go into your system and it can be food of life. And then you want more and more and more and more and more. You should. But go to these ayats, which are verses and signs, Moors, and you will not see any specific way of performing these salats. And then you must understand and notice carefully. There is no mention of how to make a rakat, which is a ritualized ruku. In fact, the word rakat is only speaking of ruku, not qiyam, sida, or jalsa. So you got to think about that, Moors. And then you got the following 3 salats, which are not mentioned in the Quran by their names as a salat in Arabic, are these. The Salat Dura, the Salat Asr, the Salat Maghrib. Maghrib does not mean sunset. I promise you, Maghrib does not mean sunset. It means west. You don't got to listen to me. All you must do is study and remove the ego. But however, Moors, others argue that the word, the D-H-U-H-R and the A-S-R and Maghrib are used in the Quran, but not as a term defining Salat. The word noon, N-O-O-N, is used, but not as a salat time or as a salat al-dura, but rather than as a time of privacy and rest time. When I say, man, I'm a God, you are God. This is the time for the rest time for who? The God. Read it in your Quran, 24 and 58. I just gave it to you. The salat dura, the salat D-H-U-R, is a time of rest. You can't prove me wrong. Y'all should be saying Islam. Y'all should be having hearts. Y'all should be sharing these teachings. You should be illuminated. Because I told y'all Moorish science is not no slavery science. Are y'all listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth? Are you understanding the teaching that I'm giving you, man? This is liberation right here, man. Man, chill should be going down your spine. The Holy Spirit is this understanding of these teachings. And now we must take it to the next level. If you rocking with me, somebody got to say Islam. Or I'm just ministering to myself. Islam? The Salat Dur is a time of rest. The word noon is used, but not as a Salat time or as a Salat al-Dura, but rather than as a time of privacy, a rest time. Read it in 24 and 58. Read it. Read it in your ayat. Salat Dura is a time of rest. And that's it. That's all it is. You got to think about it. Now read these ayats and see how they are spoken of. And you got to pay close attention in 17 and 78. Read that. Establish regular prayers at the sun's decline till the darkness of the night, and the morning prayer and the readings. For the prayer and the readings in the morning carry their testimony. That's usefully. That in Pictal, establish worship at the going down of the sun until the dark of night, and the recital of the Quran at dawn. Lo, the recital of the Quran at dawn is every witness. The Shakir, keep up prayer from the declining of the sun till the darkness of the night, and the morning recitation. Surely the morning recitation is witness. Perform these salats, perform these al-salats to describing the sun, the al-shamsi, to the darkness of the night, the al-lali, and the Quran, the morning, the al-fagri. Verify, or verily, Moors, the Quran in the morning will be which is witness. That's the Maswunduna, the Huwdan, when we talk about a particular time when the sun is setting. I hope y'all following what I'm saying, man. I promise you. The word duluk, D-U-L-U-K, means to rub, and represents when the sun is rubbing the horizon as the sunset. So you got to understand, it only tells you to perform, which some translate as establish, the salat. Describing of the sun, this is the later afternoon time, after the sun was at its highest and is headed to the sunset and the darkness of the night. This would also be called, considered the wusta, or the middle, when you are standing in your kuum. So while the morning is used primarily for reading the Quran, right, Moors? Guard strictly your habits of prayer, especially the middle prayer, and stand before Allah in a devout frame of mind. Be guardians of your prayers and of the midmost prayer, and stand up with devotion to Allah. Attend consistently to prayer and to the middle prayer, and stand up truly obedient to Allah. Protect hafdilu over the salat, or the al-salat, and the salat of the middle, the al-wusta, and stand toward before facing Allah without speaking. So you can see clearly it's done standing. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? When everybody be talking about you getting on your knees, I said, hey, I hear you, but hey, you know the teaching. Well, I ain't said one time get on your knees, have I? Here you can see that this salat is done standing. And if you will remember the above teachings that I gave y'all, when a lot of Moors love Wikipedia, it's mentioned other forms of positions of praise, respect, such as the S-A-J-D-A-H, the Sadah, which is what? Prostrating or erect. And the ruku is bowing. But here it specifically note that the al-salat is standing before Allah, standing in silence. So think on that in your Moorish Quran in chapter 11, when we're speaking of the Elohim. Man, are y'all hearing me? 24 and 58. O ye who believe, let those who your right hands possess, and the children among you who have not come of age ask your permission before they come to you, before they come to your presence on 3 occasions before morning prayer, while ye off your clothes for the noonday heat, and after the late night. These are your 3 times of undress. Outside of those times, it's not wrong for you or for them to move about attending to each other. Thus does Allah make clear the signs to you, or the signs for Allah, for us. For Allah is full of knowledge and wisdom. O ye who believe, let your slaves and those of you who have not come to puberty ask, leave of you at 3 times before they come into your presence, before the prayer of the dawn, and when ye lay aside your remnant for the heat of the noon, and after the prayer of night, 3 times of privacy for you. It is no sin for them or for you at other times. When some of you go round attendant upon others and seeking others, checking on them, if they come into your presence without leave, thus Allah made clear that revelations for you. Allah is knower, he's wise. O you believe, let those whom your right hands possess that science. We must understand what I'm saying. Above it mentions 2 salats, the morning salat and the evening salat. And this is only one that actually is mentions a morning salat, an actual evening salat. If we're going to base it on the teachings, and then we might say that the salat al-asa is the al-salat al-wusta, because if they really wanted to say Moors, nighttime salat worship, it would be layli or lali, L-A-Y-L-I. So really Moors, if you see the possibility of only 2 worships, but I am more than willing to see all 3 or all of these 3 different salats. I can see it. I can see those. Y'all understand what I'm saying? All these salats, what I said, the salat al-fard, the salat al-wusta, the salat al-asaya, all these should be performed while standing. Are y'all listening to me? Let somebody tell you any difference, and then it ain't in no teaching. That's their belief. I told you all these should be done and performed while standing, not prostrating, not bowing. Because salat worship is done standing according to the Quran. I don't give a damn if you got the one with the K or the Q. But the Muslims in the East have added all of the different positions mentioned in the Quran and made up a rakat, which is a ritualized performance of different positions. That's it. It ain't law. And they know this. That's what I've been telling you. They know this. That's why I said this supreme wisdom. You can't dispute what I'm telling you. You can't dispute this. This is supreme wisdom. Your religion your imam will tell you. He might not tell you because he'd be like, damn, who you talking to? But they know this. This is why they start out in a qiyam. And a qiyam is the only position done twice in a rakat, because it is the only position that is prescribed by the Quran during salah. While at other times, one are called the shada, which is prostrating, and the ruku, which is bowing. And we'll cover that, as we go on. Some Quranists, however, believe that there are only 2 salats, dawn and dusk, including the times of night, close to these 2 periods. And this is based on there being no specific reference to a noon or afternoon prayer in the Quran. And the meaning of the wusta as middling, moderate, not extreme, referring to how one is to pray, or referring to being modest about one's prayer. So the word al-wusta can even mean the best. And there is no conscience among Quranists as to the correct number of prayer. I promise you, some Quranists, which the name is given to a lot of Muslims that only follow the Quran, not the books called the Hadith of Muhammad, and not the books called the Sunnah of Muhammad, both of those being put together by men after Muhammad had long been gone. Always remember that which is being called Sunnah of Muhammad, I promise you, is really a collection of things taken out of the Hadith. And there is no real separate book written by no Muhammad called his Sunnah. The Muslims of the East took different things about Muhammad's life out of the Hadith and called it his Sunnah, his tradition, his customs, or his way of life. So really there is only the Hadith and the Quran, the Al-Quran. And the Quran is the best of the hadith. Matter of fact, Moors, for Allah, for Moors, and for me, it's the only true hadith. When we talk about oral statements, say we do as spirit tells us or move us, for Allah and man are one. That's right. Oral statements matter. So if you understand what I'm saying, we do not follow the mere ideas of man. I want to be clear. When I say, I'm my own sheep, I'm my own master teacher. This vessel is right. Come on the YouTube page, Noble. But we do not follow no mere ideas of no mortal man, like the fika or the fikir that is existence today among most of the Muslims in the East. And let me also say this, Moors, it is not about intellectually understanding the laws of Islam. It is all about intellectually understanding the laws of Islam in the Quran. They keep trying to get away from the fact. When I say, let's go to the book, I don't care what your ritual is and something you be your tradition, let's go to the Quran. It ain't in there, so you lying. And your belief is based off garbage. But all of the laws of Islam are found in the Quran and in our Moorish Quran, not in any other source. And the other sources all receive their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Islam from the Quran, the complete Quran. So stop letting them call to tell you about Islam or laws of Islam outside of the Quran. Not that the religion did not begin before that, but we will not really be able to recognize what is Islam and what is not without a guide to use to measure the truth from falsehood. Hold on one second, boys. So, we on good times. So, but not that religion did not begin before that, Moors, but we got to recognize what is Islam and what is not without a guide to use to measure truth from falsehood. You got to have a measuring stick. You got to see what can be valid, what's not. Truth from error. And this is why we are given a Quran in the first place, so we can use it for this very purpose. So when a person say, oh yeah, that's like a preacher say, and the Bible says, you got these preachers with turbans on and feathers on and say, and the Quran states this, and can't show you nothing in the Quran. So Sarah is not found in the Quran. S-H-A-R-I-H, Sarah or Sarah, however you want to pronunciate it, is not found in the Quran. Hadith is not found in the Quran. Sunnah is not found in the Quran, unless it is Shara, Hadith, and Sunnah of Allah Himself. That's the only thing Muslims are worried about. So now you got to notice that the al-Salat, the al-Wusta, the word Wusta is not a time of day. Like F-A-J-R means morning, and Isha, A-A-I-S-H-A, means evening. Why not call it Salat al-Noon or Dur? Remember? And al-Salat, al-Wusta, is the only one that has a position mentioned with it, and that's standing, or in Qum or Kumu. It should also not be surprising, Moors, that this is only one called al-Salat, meaning it is the only one seen as the institution, while the other two are simply called Salat, not al-Salat. Thus, it is just worship, meaning worship in the morning and worship in the evening, not a specific morning worship and not a specific evening worship. Are we clear with the science, Moors? And if you really want to be honest, Moors, It says, let your servant go worship. Let's be clear. Am I right or wrong? Let me get a sip of my good drink. Yes or no? If we want to be clear, what it says, Islam. This is what it. If y'all want to be clear, it says, let your servant go worship, while you use the time for yourself away from them. Huh? But if this was about Muslims, all Muslims worship together, don't they? Huh? So if that's the case, why are they telling you to do something that wasn't for you? I'm telling you, you under some slaves, you under some Islam teaching. And I'm telling you, I'm your brother, a Moor and an Adept, a scientist. I'm going to teach you from love to get you out of that slave belief. According to this science that I'm giving you, while the servants were worshiping, the master was chilling, using that as quality time for himself or herself. So these must not have been seen as mandatory upon the Muslims. Y'all ain't listening. Y'all ain't listening to me. And it's strange to you that out of 144 chapters, all of the 1,000 of verses, only 3 verses mention Salat at all? Huh? But we are supposed to be doing these 5 times a day, every day for the rest of your life? Where are these teachings at? You under some slave man teachings. We are supposed to perform certain acts that we cannot even find in the Quran. If it was that important, why it ain't in the science? If it was that important to do it the way they have made up, wouldn't it be all over the Quran? Wouldn't it be all over there? And so you can see what I'm saying. All this time, y'all, we perform Salat every Friday, evening, night, at the holy day, in our meetings at our Sunday school, if you under the right auspices. That's that noon time or that Worcester time, when we standing in Salat before Allah. And the worship we do at all our meetings and at our Sunday school should be done every day. Like one is at their Sunday school and at their Friday service every day, every day, every day. You are a Muslim every day, not on Friday and Sunday. Thus you shouldn't only be performing Salat on some desk on Friday and Sunday like this, that's some dumb ritual. You should be doing this every day. That you are a Muslim, you should be performing your Salat, your Fire, your Worcester, your Ashaya. Worship your Father, Allah, when you wake up in the morning, sometime from the sunrise to noon, in the middle, sometime between the noon to sunset, for the day of the evening, the night, sometime after sunset, before you go to bed. Are y'all following what I'm saying, Moors? You are supposed to stand before Allah's face in the evening and thank Him in everything. You're supposed to stand in front of Allah's face in everything we think, everything we do. Call Ishan, call Ashan, the very best action. And when standing at Salat, we are supposed to speak in a certain tone of voice. In our teachers, in our ayat 17, 1 and 10, call upon Allah or call upon Rahman by whatever name ye call upon him. Did y'all hear what I just said? Ma, did you hear that? Yeah. When you hear them Negroes be trying to tell somebody you got to learn Arabic. Why? That ain't got nothing to do with righteousness. Man, we spoke over 1,000 languages. Let me say what I'm telling you again from teachings. Listen what I say. Call upon Allah or call upon Rahman by whatever name ye call upon him. Did y'all hear me? Man, that should give you liberation. Man, you should kick your shoes off and be like, what Negro told me I should be doing this? And the teacher say right here, call upon Allah or call upon Rahman by whatever name ye call upon him. It is well. It is well. For to him belong the most beautiful names. When I say, man, there's 99 names of Allah. Are you tripping? Neither speak by the prayer aloud, nor speak in a low tone, but seek a middle course between. Man, y'all ain't listening to me when I unify these teachings, man. Man, when I teach these teachers, man, I get illuminated, man. Yeah, you've been lied to. I'm trying to. Well, no, I would call it you've been lied to, you've been preached to. You're under a certain religious doctrine that I tell, this is what I say, nobles. I know most people don't read. I know imams that I have real elders, and they say most people do not read. That's why most people believe in something. And I say most people don't read. Most people collect books. I don't just collect books. This is my life. Everything I have, I read all the science. My family tell you, I'm a walking library, man. I'm a walking dictionary. Nobody finna connotate and arbitrarily explain nothing to me with a linguistic, connotated, dogmatic, arbitrary, connotated religious perspective. Can't do it with me. Can't do it with me. You know? This is a joy. This is the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. I don't know what people be waiting for. Once this happened, then we should have enough confidence to take it to the next level. Because you should be saying like, hey, my brother ain't lying to me. He ain't trying to con me. He done brought me out of a shallow grave. We going to the next level. Tribe started with people. You damn well. That's what I just said, Noble. He have 99 attributes. Man, forget that. It was 16 crucified saviors before some so-called Jesus Christ and Allah. Every manifestation. Cry unto Allah, or cry unto the benefit, unto whatsoever ye cry. It is the same. Here are the most beautiful names. And thou, Muhammad, be not loud voice in thy worship, nor yet silent therein, but follow a way between. Call upon Allah, or call upon the beneficent, Allah, whichever you call upon. He has the best names. He has the best names. He or she, he has the best names. So when I'm speaking emphasis, I'm not that little in my brain. When I say he, don't think I ain't talking about you. He or she have the best names. And do not utter your prayer with a very raised voice, nor be silent with regard to it, and seek a way between these. That's right. And so the Muslims of the Moorish Science Temple, the Muslims of the Burning Bush Tabernacle, Moorish Science Temple and School, what I teach, fulfill all of this to the letter. We should. It is also said in the Quran, in your ayat 38 and 20 and 32. And he said, lo, I have preferred the good things of the world to be remembrance of my Lord, till they were taken out of sight behind the curtain. Then he said, surely I preferred the good things to be remembered, O my Lord, until the sunset and the time for a Asr prayer was over, he said. So notice Shakir's verse says, time for the SAR, the Asr prayer. But in the Quran, it doesn't say Salat or the SAR. Look at it for yourself. I want you to look for yourself. He had to add that in there. And there are other areas in these Quran verses. You will see this same thing is being done in English. But in the Arabian Gulf Arabic, you don't find it. This is why we don't follow the Oriental ideal of Islam. We follow the Quran ideal of Islam, according to what we hear in the North, Central, South America from the Moorish descent and our ancestry actually see in the Quran, not what someone else sees traditionally or what someone else says. That's what I tell people. Birato is dead. And this understanding is the root, the source, and the cause of all Moorish Quran thought, the foundation of our new Moorish worldview of things. We view things clearly. The noon, before sunset, the after the sunset are not all seen, found in the Quran. And yet, if you will notice, in Al-Islam, they keep you focused on prayer more than anything. But I guarantee you, Moors, 99.99% of what they have you performing cannot be found in the Holy Quran. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you none of the stuff they have you performing, I bet you they can't find it. I bet you can't find it in the Quran. That's why the first time a Muslim or anybody there say what they believe in. So you can't argue with a person if they telling you they believe You don't argue with a man that they believe in something. You argue with a man that believe in a rock. Man, you got to let that man believe in that rock and keep it pushing. You will be wasting your breath because he'll be trying to explain what the rock is. And they'll be saying, and the teachers of such and such teaches us, and such teaches us. I know the game. I ain't here for no religion. And such teaches us. Well, okay. Well, such teaches is limited, or he lying to you, and he know he lying. So whatever. Some groups like the Al Quran, a lot of them believe in 5 salats. A lot of different groups believe in different things. But when we talk about the rakat as it exists today, came from the Hebrews that lived in the Muslim communities. And it is practiced called Shamae or Shame, which literally means to be heard, meaning to be heard by who? The great God. And they basically do all of the same positions, see, in the rakat. That's why I be telling y'all be letting somebody get the teachings twisted. But even with the Hebrews, it is customary. It is a tradition. And a Hebrew is to only do it when they feel it's necessary or at specific special occasions. It is not something you do all day, every day. As a matter of fact, Moors, if you will pay attention, the Hebrews or those who follow them like the so-called Jews all pray standing up in their regular everyday worship. And you got to remember that all of the Muslims are Hebrews by practice. If you don't understand that, you definitely tripping. And can't nobody deny what I'm telling you. Let me say this again, emphatically, with a silver tongue, with eloquence. And please remember that all of the Muslims are all Hebrews by practice. Point blank. But they won't tell you all of this because it's a method of control. They have you constantly performing or practicing all kinds of things that have no benefit and no benefit for the performer or the practitioner. These things to not make you safer, smarter, stronger, richer, nothing. They don't make you more sincere, and they don't make Allah love you more. It is all for outward show. Even the Shema or the Shame of the Hebrews is usually performed in private, not in public, around a bunch of people. And another thing you got to see, when you look up stuff, you will see that. You know? The ideal of Salah having more to do with worship, working for, than just praying. And the root of the word worship literally is an act of service, a worthy act, and thus deals more with the fulfillment of one's obligation, duty, and responsibility to Allah, which is why the master was told to relax while the servants were away taking care of their salat. Are y'all listening to me? Which obviously was going to take some time to do. So in the most secular form, Moorish, the word salat can be seen as a set of jobs per se, given to a servant by his master that must be performed every day. Are y'all listening to the science that I'm delivering you? And this connection of following behind is where the word ritual from rite originates, if you know what rite means. So anyway, it should not be strange to Moors or to anyone that if we do our salat, our dua, according to the Holy Quran of Mecca, that we won't be doing 99.99 of the things they have people doing in the Sunni and the Shiite and the Sufi sets of Islam. I guarantee you. They will not like what I'm saying, but I don't give a damn. But they will not be able to prove what I'm saying is wrong. Guarantee you that. No one can go against what I'm saying. I'm a more to the day the flesh is gone. I'm going to teach Islamism forever. Assalamu alaikum. You know, that's what that is. And that's where I stand on that. Man, y'all listen to what I'm saying? You're right. So, we only an hour in. I'm glad because I've been keeping time. We ain't even going to go past the 2 hour mark. I hope not. But if we do, Oh well. And I'm gonna keep it closed though, y'all. But remember, if we understand teachings, because we must understand all teachings after the death. Prophet Muhammad taught the highest degree of prayer. Remember? We all remember the ritual of facing a so-called eastwardly direction during prayer did not begin with Muslims of modern day Islam. See, this is a human practice that dates back originally to the fall of Isa and Isha, Adam and Eve, from the grace of the garden into being humans. Prior to the fall, when they were gods and goddesses, they naturally met Allah's commands through the hearts, the will of higher consciousness. When you see the third eye, when I talk about the third eye, right? The fall of man became its descent from the light, which is the truth. The light was the truth. And his, in search of that light's journey into the Maya of the human knowledge. It was then man's highest idea became his God. When you see in our Moorish Quran, chapter 10 and 16. And in the time, the sun, Allah's noblest image, became his most wishful source of the light and direction of prayer. And it was the ancient Comeditans that made a scientific study, Moors, which discriminated between the worshiping of Ra, the sun, and Hotep, the conscious relationship or the realization that exists between man and God, and the light, which is the entrance to the maker of both he and the sun. Islam, Moors? Man, I hope y'all, man, it's science, man. Adept science ain't talking about a whole bunch of old stuff. This is that adept science connecting man and God. The old tribes of Israel, later misnomer Jews and Hebrews, which revived the outwardly prayer, the direction, plummet, perpendicular to the sun, to the horizontal landmark erected by man, Moors. Therefore, Moors, they proclaim their city of Jerusalem as the holy and face it to sanctify their prayers. This remained a custom for nearly 1,000 years until the advent of the great prophet Muhammad. See, the ritual of which way should man face in prayer, it surfaced as a misunderstanding. Are y'all listening to me? When y'all got these Moors talking about let's stand to the east, those slave teachings. I'm giving you stuff that's in the teachings. That's why when you ask them why we tell us to stand to the east, I'm correcting the teachings. I'm correcting all these teachings. When a Moor tell you we stand to the east, I'm giving you the Quranic teachings. That's false teachings. That's false teachings. We got to correct these teachings. I told y'all. Follow the teachings, man. You shouldn't ask the questions if you know. Follow the teachings. We correcting teachings. Brother Abir, we correcting teachings. So when you ask, we correcting. Stay in the context of what I'm teaching. We're correcting teachings. We're correcting belief system. We're correcting a belief system. We should understand the cherubim and the seraphim. We understand the two things, but we're not talking about that. Stay in context, please. In Medina, originally called Yathrib, with a Yathrib, the city par excellence between the so-called Jews and Muslim converts of Muhammad. And since these Meccans and these Israelites and many other nationals in that region's customary faced Jerusalem to pray. It was these Jews that assumed because they had given the new Muslims refuge and equal rights. That's right, Noble. And equal rights of citizenship, that they would face the Qibla, or the Qibla, the Qiblah, following what? Tradition. But Muhammad, under Allah's command, was to make Muslims into ancient direction of prayer. But what's this new direction for prayer ordained through Muhammad, the way of the prophets, or the face, the Kaaba in Mecca, as opposed to the Qibla of Jerusalem? Follow what I'm saying. First, it must be remembered that Muhammad was a member of the agnostics order of worshipers called the Hunafa or the Hanif, before becoming directed by the angel Gabriel. A Hunufa was not a tribesman, but a seeker of truth, upright, by way of consciousness, as different from the idol worshippers. In fact, Moors, Hanif meant those who turn away from adultery. Also, when he was able to see the form of the angel Gabriel, from when the voice of Allah came, when Muhammad was in the Hira mountain, it was the shape of a man standing in the sky, just above the horizon. If we're going to give the teachings, the ancient Egyptians, from which most angels, Michael, Gabriel, derives, always used the word horizon to separate or to differentiate or to make different between higher consciousness and human thinking. I'm talking about your brain. Stop thinking we're talking about outer body stuff. But whereas our Prophet Noble Drew Ali simplified this lofty state to us as Moors, what I teach, the nearest place to meet Allah is in the heart. That's our question for Moors. And these angels always look indigenous to Eden and can do no more than carry messages from Allah. That's question 60 to 63, Moors. See, there is infinite grace in the art of meditation. And here again, meditation is realized as the most direct prayer way. Follow what I'm saying. All of the prophets, the angels, the Muslims, the gurus, and the masterminds of all times and climes. This is key. Every prophet raised from among a nation of people always attempted to teach their followers to be like them, especially to pray just like them. What do y'all think the fasting Buddha was doing? Y'all don't know what the fasting Buddha was doing? You got the Buddha when he was big, but you got the fasting Buddha too when he was coming to his higher consciousness. What you think he was doing?
Getting in shape, mentally, spiritually.
That's right. My mom said he was getting in shape mentally, spiritually, and physically. He was in his meditation. He was in his prayer. He was going into his higher consciousness. Although, as in the generalities of men, to be ignorant rarely did more than one or few conquer Maya and ego enough to meet Allah. And this holds true for Moses, Abraham, Yeshua, Muhammad, and Noble Drew Ali and me. These prophets or angels of Allah in the flesh usually gave their people an alternative method of prayer, linking somewhere between a tradition that they were accustomed to. That's why our prophet used Jesus. And he said these teachings and the names will be illuminated by adepts at a certain time. And all teachings testify to that. If it was a never was a J in the Hebrew dialect, that's simple. And link it to the ancient direct way through fearless consciousness, without the interceding of a middleman, rituals, or a form. They pray best. Also in our Holy Quran, Surah 2, 140 to 153, there are two definite degrees of prayer revealed through Muhammad in Yaqrib or Al-Marina. Yet because this reading came forth in the midst of a separation between Jewish prayer tradition and the new constitution of prayer for the faithful, only the congregational level of prayer is practiced by most Muslims of today, Moors. Although Moors, Muhammad uncovered that the Jews as hypocrites and entrusted his followers to turn their face to Mecca, as do the Jews face the Kabbalah or the Qibla. Few understood their higher degrees of prayer, and they first revealed to the holy Arabian prophet. Muhammad made it clear, Moors, that any earthly direction was of no significance to the divine. Did y'all hear what I just said? Moors want to say they follow the teachings of Muhammad and they follow these teachings. Well, let's illuminate it. Did y'all hear what I just said? Because Moors keep getting y'all in these carnal ordinances that don't mean nothing. Let me make this clear. Muhammad made it clear that any earthly direction was of no significance to the divine. We are the divine. Unto Allah belongs the east and the west. So when y'all Moors and these Negro black Masons, are you a traveler from the West? Man, come on. I come back and I know the game. Man, I say Allah belongs to the East and the West. Get out of here with that crack garbage, with them catchphrases. Allah guides whom He will. Allah guides who He will until a straight path. This is the same straight path of prophets, the way of those who Thou hast bestowed Thy grace, revealed in the universal Al-Fariya. And Allah had appointed to him Muhammad as in the utmost center between the East and the West, between the two eyebrows, called the middle nation. Come on my YouTube page, Noble. Reading your ayat 2 and 143. The nations is a people, Muslims, using their uppermost will to meet with will of the great God, and has no Maya or ego gods, East and West, before Allah. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad of the Moorish American Muslims called his organization the Nation of Islam, a middle nation, but few to none has truly heard either of Muhammad's of the past 1500 years refer to this as the center for the will in your ayat 144, translated by Adepts. Notes that Allah knows Muhammad has been relying upon heaven, man's highest state of consciousness, for guidance. All Adepts should know what I'm saying. And now he would be able to enter the heart of himself, where Allah always sits upon the throne of wisdom and force. The Quran refers to the new place of prayer as being very dear to thee, dear to the sense of vital, necessary, or close. Even our Prophet Noble Ali instructs us Moors, there is no place dearer, near for man to meet Allah, but in the heart, Moors. That's our question 4. As the reader will soon understand the absolute, no difference in the translation between the dearest and the nearest. So here the Quran reveals this to Muhammad, Moors. The messenger of Allah was then instructed, so turn your face inward toward the inviolable place of worship. That's your heart. Then told all Muslims, whosoever ye may, turn your faces when in prayer toward it. This is the first revelation on which direction to face when it's performing prayer. It is without a human handicap course of directional east or west, but centered in the middle. This place, all Muslims, where the wicked and the human beings cannot go. Only the pure in heart can enter this place of the heart. Y'all ain't listening to what I'm saying. Naturally, Moors, because this Meccan followers were accused to facing Jerusalem and the dictates of human nature, it was a lot easier to relate to the fact that Muhammad was born in Mecca, centered by the Kaaba temple. They literally turned on their heels and its semblance of a standing Jewish custom. They faced their hometown of Mecca. Y'all following me? Their devotion has not gone unrewarded, because 1400 years later, during that time, the Kaaba and the whole city of Mecca is the Islamic center of the world. Don't y'all know this? I'm connecting these dots. And although Muslims adjust their sun and moon compass, who pray for the north, south, and the east of the Kaaba, but it is still not the nearest and the dearest place which one can meet Allah. Yeshua himself was asked this directional question. When we talk about Joshua's life, works, and teachings, where Yeshua asks, why need we go away to find Allah? Allah's meeting place with man is in the heart. That's in our Moorish Quran, chapter 8 and 7. Praise Allah for knowing all things, including man's weakness, that derives from the false readings of his sense. Muslims symbolically see this inviolable place as the Kaaba. Most of this narrow-sightedness has been held on by the Arabians since Mecca was the old commercial center of the East. But there have been hundreds of Muslims massacred by the Muslims at the Kaaba. Every Holy Friday after Jummah service, a mufti decapitates a human head or few at the cheers of Allah or Allah Akbar. Y'all know I'm telling the truth? And for those Moorish Muslims here in the West, you need to know with all your sincerity and search for the light. Mecca is still the African slave capital of the world and the advocate of the seal of the prophets to bring Islam, the most holy Muhammad, has never changed the Arabians' love for slaves. Not to mention the Karamations were able to confiscate the black stone from the Kaaba, right from the holy center. So we can get deep with the teachings, Moors. The nearest place to meet Allah, the great God, is within the heart. The center of the living and of any living thing is also the heart of that especial creation. Here we go with that especial again. The center is the life source, the foundation or the vital point, or it could not live. That's the battery. That's why I say, Moors, all of us are called to prayer. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches us, men and birds and beasts and creeping things that are deities made flesh, and because all forms of life on every plane are thoughts of Allah, all creatures think, and every creature is possessed of will, and in its measure has the power to choose. All living things, when in their natural state, give reverence and praise to the great God, their creator. This is also true for man, although he is the only deity possessed with consciousness. That's in our Moorish Quran 36:4. Only when humanity is in a fallen state of unconsciousness does it worship other gods before their own creator. That's Exodus 20:3. The existence to every nation of the human family is they are divine products of Allah, and in the laws he has ordained as the rule of life. So kindly has Allah united man's duty to man's nature, that obedience to his precepts in pure happiness to man's self. That's in your Moorish Quran 35:21. But man must pray and meditate to begin to be in harmony with his true nature. Only in his own nature will man know freedom. El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, Sheikh Noble Drew Ali, has stated on numerous occasions, he is Allah's prophet. In Arabic would translate Ashura, Ana, Sharif, Abdul, Allah, Ashula. This declaration of our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, being Allah's prophet, has and will enrage the average unaccomplished Islamic scholar. I told y'all people be using scholar loosely, but they ain't no scholars, because scholars agree on the science, their religion, tradition. But that, as it is, Moors, no Muslim outside their era of mind would attempt to place limitations on the grace of Allah, the most gracious, or measure the mercy of Allah, the most merciful. Who is it to dare say that we as a nation of Allah are not worthy of this good stuff? Has there ever been any nation that has paid a greater price of admission into the kingdom of Allah? When all truth are revealed, the record of the human family will reflect this science I'm giving y'all. It is Allah alone that breathed forth the clean and pure nation of the Moorish Americans and ordained our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the Prophet, ordained me, myself, in the flesh, to redeem us from our sinful ways. That's our Act 6. And only the Father of the universe bring forth nations and raise his prophets from amongst us to serve as a guide. That's all I am, is a guide and a map to the narrow way of Allah. That's in our Surah 10:47. We must have a map in the flesh. Skin, nations of Europe, the Muslims of the Arab countries per se. What about the misnomer Negro, black, and colored people? What or who could and would save the Moorish Americans? The Moors should think not with Arabia, which our Moorish Quran speaks of, 38:6, but think as Muslims are created to think, with our eye of consciousness wide open. The advent of the Moorish Americans and our prophet is found throughout the constitution of the glorious Quran revealed to Muhammad, Moors. In fact, Moors, this holy book is so perfect and unchanged until if this omnipresence truth could be removed, its message to man would be without interpretation of meaning. It is not possible for people of the Torah and the Quran to have forgotten when they too were lost and how they were shown the way back to salvation. And more importantly, Moors, who they are and by whom. Anyway, getting back to this prayer, this science is a part of wisdom to know self and the great creator of the self, which is Allah. Also to know why all praises are due to Allah, and Allah has no need for praise, nor does the great God of all things have use for a want. They don't require that. Indeed, man and man alone stands in the need of prayer. Man is now entering into the Aquarian age, where he can comprehend the works of purity and love, which our Moorish Quran states in 2:25. Our degree of understanding has evolved and opened enough to see Allah as one with ourselves. We don't need a middleman. We don't need no priest to intercede. He needs only be guided through grace by one of Allah's vicegerents or one of his prophets in the flesh. Then he can go straight to Allah and place his hand, which is his mind, in Allah's hand, which is a divine mind, and all is well, which it states in our Moorish Quran, chapter 10, 22 and 24. Our Prophet Noah Ali gives the Moors holy instructions. That's what I'm giving you. We must return to them the old-time ancient Islam, a higher degree of al-Islam, which is founded upon the first law of divinity, to know of self. About 1400 years ago, within a time during 622 AD, Prophet Muhammad perfected Islam for the Arabians and chose it for those wayward infidels of Arabia. See in your Surah 5 and 3. This ain't me. That's why I tell people, if Allah didn't want these words to be shown, he wouldn't have put it in the book. These the teachings. You can't get mad at me. Read it. Surah 5 and 3. He did not invent Islam, nor did he father the Arabia or the Arab nation. When the great prophet Muhammad was instructed by the angel Gabriel to read, his first revelation became known as the opening. And this transliterates in Arabic to mean the al-Fida or Fida. This letter became the first surah of the Holy Quran and is today the all-encompassing prayer for Muslims all over the world. In fact, Moors, there is no Islamic business or any other Muslim endeavor, consider it neither right nor complete, without the utterance of the al-Fida, at least the first verse, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. There is no bath, politic, consumption, sex, teachings, eliminations, communication, walk, sale, nothing, absolutely nothing is acceptable in the Islamic world without Allah before and Allah after. The al-Farid is often called the perfect prayer. The Moorish American prayer defined. Our Prophet Noble Ali taught Moors the ancient Adept straight way of prayer. When Moors, they say they adapts, well then they should be able to give you the straight way of prayer. When we give gratitude, being the highest form of meditation to the Creator, is the first sign of a nation. Gratitude. It has truly recovered from slavery. And one of the marks indicative or that shows of a true prophet is noted when he teaches his fallen nation how to pray to their Creator. Every nation of the book has a national prayer that was revealed to, what did the noble just say? I didn't even see that. I want to see what somebody just said. Let me see. Damn, how'd that pop up? I want to see what that said. Hold on. So many Muslims don't speak against American treating us over here treacherous. They do business with them enemy against their own. Yep. But hey, it is what it is. One mark shows that the prophet is noted when he teaches his fallen nation how to pray to their creator. Every nation of the book has a national prayer that was revealed to them by their prophet. There are about 16 prayers in the Bible. Solomon, Hezekiah, Isaiah, David, Job, Daniel, Jonah, Yeshua, disciples, all have prayers. The most noted in the Christian West is what they now call the Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6, 9, and 14. This prayer is also defined in the chapter. These prayers serve as beacon lights for citizens and families because they are the spiritual roots into divinity. One of the greatest observations of prayer can be seen when man looks into the face of man and sees the image of Allah himself who speaks within. That's in your Moorish Quran 8 and 10. With purity of heart, a man is able to see himself as truth and the great God all in one. This is called bliss. Bliss is a true sensation and experience as the all of love made manifest. That's in chapter 1. And since prayer is the heart of any religion, our Prophet Noble Drew Ali united the Moorish American prayer in perfect command and harmony, as with the Al-Fadi revealed to the Arabians or Arabia in those days. I hope y'all following us. Our Prophet instructs the Moors to know thyself and Allah. So I want to get in all of it. I'm going to leave y'all with this. Because when we talk about the Ra, which means life, the Atem, which means formless consciousness, the Nu, which means infinite, formless, indestructible energy, the Ta, which means omnipresence or omniscience, the Hu or the You, which means be or speak utterance, worlds into existence, the Aman, which means hidden life, is hidden nature, consciousness, and imperfectible. That's science. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali refers to Amen in his questionary. Who made you? Allah. Who is Allah? Allah is the Father of the universe. Can we see him? No. Where's the nearest place we can meet him? In the heart. These 4 questions and answers teach the Moors, Amen, the unseen God hidden within the heart of man. Although Aman means faithfulness or consciousness, knowledge of the God self. In Hebrew, it is an adverb defining truly, truth, or so be it. So later, it is biblical and Webster's primary use of Amen. Amen is widely used throughout the Christian world and a tribute to the first name of their god, Neter, of the ancient Africans. I can go on with the teachings, but our prayer or meditation, the Vedas called it the surati, which is the heart, right? The Vedas, when I say all the holy books, like the Vedas, the Upshots call it the Nad or the Yujit, the song of the other world. The Muslims call it the Bangi Shamani or the Kalma. The Gubriani call it the Shabdi. The Moorish Muslims call it the Holy Isa. The Zoroastrianism call it the Sorasa. The Hebrews call it the Word, was, and is Jehovah. Same stuff. And if you're not understanding science, you let somebody tell you something different. There is but one and true way and nearest place to meet the great God is the silence of the heart. So as I close with these teachings, our Moorish American Adapt prayer, the first history and warnings of prostration, the forefathers of the Lemuri and the Asians, known as the ancient Moabites, are the true and divine founders of the world's first religious creed and the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. That's in our Moorish Quran 48 and 6. It must be remembered the very word man's thinker of all creations, of all creatures, man is the only one that grows outward from the root in his head. So, when we talk about symbol of science, and prostration is man's way to part the flesh while his journey inwardly to meet the great God. Prostration brings a higher degree in the observance of the national Moorish American prayer. And from the horizontal position, there is a revelation of understanding and communicative power that rests dormant in every human, just as an adult waits in every child. But let me get to the meat and potatoes of what I'm trying to tell y'all. In the higher science in African-based nations, the route to the center of the heart of man is called the third eye, or the ajna, the ajana. In our chapters, we talk about the third eye per se, often referred to as the what? The sixth chakra. The ajna is consciousness, entrance into the heart, where things are made of thought. Meditation is the most secure passageway into the paradise Moors, and adapts is made during the resurrection of the will of man, and the will of Allah becomes a fact. So meditation during prostration is consciousness fulfillment of the divine bond between man and himself as God. Are y'all see how I'm connecting things? Isa or Isa is the name of the first physical man before the fall, when he was more God than human. And the true transliteration of Isa is the great God. Isa is the name handed down to every major prophet from Adam to Allah. This is the holy name given to the son born to Mary and Joseph, and can be found throughout the Holy Quran. In this stage, he went about the creative and governing business of God. But as Isa began to spend more time in human form and conquering the weaker manifestations until he dumbed down and became Adam. Now, being a damn is not a good thing to be, but because Adam himself as God, or he remembered to pray, is how he became the first prophet in the flesh. And the fall of man is when he lost consciousness of himself as God. Are y'all following me? Man fell because his will to think became too sluggish. And this is when the survival of the fittest became a way of life. And he developed a carnal nature made of false satisfaction and sensation and gratification. Isa, El Ali. The problem here is attributes, the El and the Allah and the Ali, are already perfectly incorporated in the holy name Isa, the Issa Moorish. And this only goes to show finite minds cannot comprehend those things infinite. And this is why anyone can possess the name, but it can only be actively used by those with pure hearts. It cannot be used by those who are slaves to sin. I leave you with this. Think about this. Which direction do we face to pray? Come on, watch this. I gotta grab something. I want to see what people say, because this is their closing. Ooh, this is good. This is good. This is the test. This is the test. Here comes the test.
Give them a full body shot.
What you mean? Why? Oh, my feet? You crazy. Here come the test. Here come the test. If we've been listening. So, which direction do we face to pray? Come on, stop, Ma.
Okay.
Ha ha ha. Da-da-dee. Come on, Morris. And I'm going to give you the science of what our teachers say if we've been listening. We are in the East already, so it doesn't matter. There is no set. We look into the heart when praying. Okay? Okay, okay, y'all bubbling. Ooh, y'all bubbling. Y'all bubbling. Now, I'm going to break it down specifically. Watch this. Due to the last avatar, which we use certain verbiage, and that's describing our Prophet Noble Jew Ali. I told y'all, man, they stuff be in symbology. Just like the movie Avatar, a lot of stuff be symbology. I'll teach that later. Just like a woman was confused about the Matrix, and I broke all that stuff down. I said the Matrix is nothing. I said I broke the science down with people living into it, with the computer world. I broke all that stuff down and they didn't understand what it was, but that's a later teaching. But our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we and the world are in a new era of time. This means another age has passed. and the consciousness of humans has reached another level towards being himself, the light. It is time to formulate the code of law, religious postulates, and plans of rule best suited for this age. The days when men look to serve Allah outside of the self in places, objects, forms, and times no longer satisfy their search for truth. There is no way to Allah from any idol shrine. The Allah I'm speaking about is everywhere. The Allah cannot be compassed with walls nor hedged about with bounds of any kind. That's in your Moorish Quran 10 and 12. I'll take an example. Today, there are more than billions of Muslims praying toward a rock in the east 5 times a day. Does not negate to reality. Only the lost need directions. I ain't lost. Are you lost, Mom?
Good.
Only the lost need directions. So when you're driving back home, do you need some directions? Because I know how to get home. That's why I want y'all to start thinking. I know the directions to home. So if you don't know your way home, you need directions. Y'all ain't listening. The direction of north, east, south, and west were devised by man when he lost his way as God. That's in your Surah 2, 177. Clearly forbid using earthly directions when facing Allah in prayer. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? It is not righteousness that ye turn your face towards the east or the west. That's what the teachings say. This is what the teachings say. The directions of north, east, and south, and west were devised by carnal man when he lost his straight way as God. So anybody tell you turn to the east, all that, them ain't our teachings. We God. Them for the slave teachings. A lot of Moors ain't catching the analogies, Noble. I'm glad you did. The universal great God is omnipotent, omnipotent, always present, and therefore never lost. How can a God be lost and he the creator of everything? We know where we going. Are y'all listening to this science? The Moors must also remember our prophet taught us the answer to the first question. Who made us? The answer is the great God Allah. This is to say, no matter where the holy fruit falls, it still is from the same divine tree. Did y'all hear what I just said? No matter where the holy fruit fall, it still is from the same divine tree. So which way do we pray? We pray inwardly. We pray in the heart if we sincere. The universal great God is omnipotent, always present, and therefore never lost. Muslims are those who submit their will to Allah, and Muslims are the will of Allah. Are y'all listening to me? Listen to me. When people say, do you go to the shrine? I am the shrine. It's a difference. Let me break this science down to you one more time. Muslims, religious Muslims, are those who submit their will to Allah. And Muslims are the will of Allah. Muslims are the will of Allah. Man, y'all ain't hear that, man. Did y'all hear that when I said Muslims are the will of Allah? We are the will of Allah. Y'all ain't hear me, man. Did y'all hear what I just said? Was that clear to Moors? I cut off IGE on YouTube. Let me repeat this. Muslims, no disrespect to no religion, because I told you, I'm not going to argue nobody's religion. I know all about the triple rule of the Adept chamber. I'm an Adept. I don't diss nothing, but follow what I'm saying. I know what Muslim and Muslim need. I know everybody 19 and 9th power. We get that. But in this context, follow the context when I'm talking about religion, tradition, and when I'm talking about a Muslim. It is a difference in this context. So stay in context when I talk about context. Muslims are those who submit their will to Allah. And Muslims are the will of Allah. Because we connect ourselves to God. Ain't nothing separate from us. Are you catching what I'm telling you? Muslims do not pray according to the rituals of times, directions, days, rituals, and forms. The Moors must also remember that our prophet taught us, that I'm teaching you, to first question, who? I'm glad you became a student too, Noble. I'm glad too, man. Islam. That's why I said we're here to teach. Who made you? Who made you? That's the first question who made you? Allah, the great God. This is to say, no matter where the holy fruit falls, it still is from the same divine tree. So which way do we pray? Inwardly. What time do Muslims pray? Muslims are spirits and created by Allah. We do not follow time because all times are illusions of finite duration and cannot dictate the course of man. Are y'all following what I'm saying? Although throughout this holy instruction, what I'm giving and displaying, the Moorish American born prophet taught his nationals, why need we wait? Meaning there is no set time, finite duration to meet Allah. If you want to meet Allah, well, my God, you better do it now. Age before the advent of Prophet Muhammad, the ancient commandments of Eden to prostrate in prayer. Prostration became the original sign of humbleness, respect, and subservience from man toward his creation or creator. Bowing down to earth with knees, hands, and head was a symbol of his premeditative return of ashes to ashes and dust to dust. The conscious purpose of true prostration is meditation. Elevation away from human body, thereby acknowledging the flesh cannot think, nor can its bones reason. All that is left is the return to our natural and divine status. The majority of Muslims still face Iraq in the east to pray. This too is a paganism and constitute the worshiper as one still looking for the great God somewhere outside of self. That's shirk. Meanwhile, all Muslims are the will of Allah, and they do not pray according to the day, time, and rituals and forms. These are they who has reached the point, the will, and spend their life perfecting themselves as gods. And when the last prophet, Noble Drew Ali, when I say in that dispensation, because it's never a last prophet, it's prophets in the flesh. So he was a prophet during that time period. I never put a man as the only one if we say God works through man. So I want that to be clear. I give credit to the God in the flesh, and we keep it moving. Because God didn't stop creating. So if God didn't stop creating, he's going to continue to make messiahs in the flesh. I want you to be clear of that. Reintroducing our original Islam. So it's a lot of stuff prostrating while reciting the Moorish American prayer can be effective when sent by the breath. But the Moorish Americans are hereby warned, performance of the prostrations while in enemy territory are strictly forbidden in the word of Islam. That's Surah 4, 102 to 104. To prostrate in prayer, knowing the prayer standing on their feet with our eyes open. A lot of rewards of the prostrated Adept prayer. It's rewards for the prostrated Adept prayer. I don't want to get all into it, but you will get it. We talk about that holy breath. Now using the holy breath, says this prayer as instruction. O Allah, the Father of the universe. O Allah, the Father of love. O Allah, the Spirit of truth. O Allah, the Spirit of peace. O Allah, the Spirit of freedom. O Allah, the Spirit of justice. O Allah, you are my protector. O Allah, you are my guide. O Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day. O Allah, through your holy prophet. O Allah, Drew Ali. Holy Issa, Holy Issa, Holy Issa. Upon success, tested by your sincerity and purity of heart, you have made a pilgrimage into the third heaven. And I teach about that, the Adept chamber later, where it ain't no secret. So, like I said, I'm done, Morris. Any questions? I told you I'm gonna keep the teachers to what I said. We got 5 minutes of questions. Anything? If not, I hope everybody becomes students. No disrespect to anybody that's been following me. When I tell people I'm not here for likes, I'm not here for likes or thumbs up. I'm a teacher and we're trying to build something. And if you're not interested in being a student or a member, I'm just not for you. And I'm okay with that. Thanks for the donations. Like I said, if Moors want to send any donations, if you want the 3 books that I told you, the basic training wheel science, interpretation of divine creed of Moorish Islam, Moorish American House of Ali, Sufism and the Triple Road of the Adapt Chamber, a $40 donation, you can get all these books. And you get a tax exempt receipt at the end of the year. If Moors don't have it, that's a small donation. That's a small donation. I'll throw an extra book in. The 14 famous Asiatics or so-called blacks who debunked the Eurocentric propaganda. So you get value with donations. Literature. Any questions? More should be sending them. More should be all day like I got to get that science. That's why we confuse, because we want items instead of the science. We want a baseball hat instead of the fez. We want a necklace instead of the books. Islam. Just like when I be talking about certain things, I'm like, it's in the science. I'm telling y'all, man, next year we can show this whole movement. And I told y'all, I haven't even got into the higher teachings. I mean, I'm still on Similac right now because a lot of stuff I'm saying, I know it go over people's head. I'm saying the same thing over and over. Morris, I got over thousands of videos on YouTube. I've been doing this for a long time, especially science, especially building. I'm experienced. All I need is people to back behind me as soldiers. And we can be one body, many parts. And we can show this movement in one calendar year what it's really about. I promise y'all, man, I'm transparent. I'm a real organization. This ain't no for-profit movement. We need our basic temple here, and then we need our own land in St. John's or wherever we get more land at, so we can start building our Moorish ranch, so we can have something to go to, so we can show our kids, look what we did with 100 of us, like-minded people. We got our own community. We got our own temple in the city. We have our own conventions. Man, I give y'all simple numbers. I give simple mathematics. 100 Moors giving $100 a month. That's $10,000 a year. At the end of the year, that's 120,000 tax dollars, tax exempt dollars. And that ain't nothing that Moors used to when they were in their lower self going to churches. And then let's imagine each year when we do our conventions, we all give $1,000 once a year when we come to our convention. And at one time we come to our conventions, we give it all together. Our offerings come to 120,000, and then we continue to give the $100 a month. Man, I'll be teaching this movement, man. We'll be all over. And then I show all Moors how we'll have satellite temples in every area. Like all Moors on here from different areas. And so y'all are divine ministers, and y'all supposed to be prophets trying to bring people to the storehouse. So say if we got 15 Moors on here. Now say we got 100 Moors, and it's 100 Moors. They all in 15 or 20 states. I'm going to show us how 15 Moors in each state, y'all can put y'all pennies together, and we're going to get a small subordinate building for those Moors in that area can come to, and we can go through the ceremonies, and we can have satellite service. So y'all can be coming together in your area. And then what'll happen, I'll be traveling monthly. Monthly, I will come to your area, and I will come in the flesh. That's how we build our subordinate temples all over. Simple. How? Because if it's 15 or 20 Moors in a certain area, y'all gonna put y'all funds together and get the small temple. A lot of the funds going to the body. I'm gonna show you how to own a small little building in your neighborhood. Own it, keep it clean, start buying the stuff in our area, moving people back, having our charter community. And we have the big branch out here. And in every area where we got at least 10 or 15, 10 to 20 Moors, we're going to have our subordinate Burning the Bush Tabernacle Moorish Science Temple and School where? In your neighborhood. That's how. Any questions? We can do this. And then y'all come out here to Arizona, because this will be our base. And we all come out here to our ranch and to the temple. We can have grand stuff just like all them other churches that people be complaining about. But they know the laws. Like I say, they're not crazy. They're supporting their organization willingly, the same way we can. I'm telling you, in one calendar year, I could be like Morris. They go to funds, boom, this is what we got. This is what we getting ready to buy right here. Bam. Next thing you know, computers. Next thing you know, our Moorish band, where I'm picking up our babies in Arizona after school, where we feeding them a hot and a cold meal. We going over their science. We going over their schooling. We going over their workout and training. They going over martial arts. And then the parents come pick them up. That's how we can do this. And that's how we support it. Because the religious laws protect us. And then we have everybody that has an expertise. As we grow, as we get bigger, we got grant writers, we got curriculum. Now we popping, just like the so-called Jews. We got our own school because the laws protect us. It's that simple. We can do it. We can do it. I told y'all, the blueprint works. I done this for churches. I done this for organizers. I'm a Buddha. Now it's time for us to do it. And it's all tax exempt. It ain't nothing to wait for. We can do it. All these cats that's be talking, we don't got to listen to nobody. We can be horses with our blinders on and move and do it. Because I ain't been hustled by no scam artists. When people be saying, oh, somebody raised, that ain't happened to me. Because if a person was really wanting to do something, you can take your funds, build your school, get computers. If you are real organizations, get computers donated to you. If you're in a community like I am, build your school, ask people for membership, tax exempt, and become members. And teach online if people ain't in that area, and teach the science and continue to build and build and build and build until people start moving in that area, until people start using their skills. And next thing you know, we grand, baby. Any questions?
Islam.
Why these Moors dirty when they don't have to be? I don't know. You have to ask them. I have no idea, Empress. I have no idea. My question is going to be the same when somebody asks me about somebody else. I don't know why a so-called devil acts like a devil. It's their nature. But I know what I am, and I know what I can do. So if we know something dirty, all we got to do is stay away from it and don't entertain it. We don't entertain nonsense. And that's all I'll say is once we find, it's like love. If you're looking for love, you're going to continue to find love until you, and when you find it, if your heart been broken, you won't love again. And so when you find love, you must hold on to it dearly. Because I'll have love and passion with everything I do. And when I find love, I hold on to it dearly. I want it to be mine. I am love. I got to have love. So if we don't understand that, you should be looking for love. Once you find love, it's nothing else you should be looking for. Because now we in a relationship. And then when we in a relationship, it's things in a relationship. It's commitments in relationships. It's related. So that's why I said we got to change our thinking. When I tell more, I said the first time we talk about some others, why the person do that, you should be correcting yourself. Like, I don't care why they doing that. What am I doing? When I tell people about looking at somebody else's food while our plate getting cold, what we gonna do with our little food? So what if they got steak and potatoes? We got rice and beans. Well, we gonna be hearty. We gonna eat our rice and beans. We gonna get the same nutrition, but we gonna get healthy nutrition, and we gonna build our tabernacle while people steady having fun. I'm telling you. Any questions? Any more? Any more questions? Because I'm 2 hours in. I want to go too long. I'll at least go to 7 more minutes and see if anybody got any more questions. But I don't know why people do things, Noble. I don't know why people scam people and put on the feds and scam the people. And people think being a Moor, you finna get some money and you finna all of a sudden be successful. That's a scam. And those scams been going all around forever. They just put on the feds. It's no different. So any more questions? We got 7 minutes. Islam. And thank for the donations, man. Like I said, don't be afraid to give a donation. $5 or $10 is all going to the storehouse. If you was in the temple, I don't ask people for much. I ask my members to just fulfill their obligation. And if we give donations, which we should, because if it was me, every time I came to the temple and when my noble speaking, I'm giving $10. That's just me, because that's what my funds is for. So gratitude for all the donations that Moorish give and your dues. Gratitude. But it's Cash App $ KG Bay. Any more questions? If Moorish want my 3 books, all you got to do is send a $40 donation in. I'll send you all 3 books and a bonus one. So you'll get 4 books for $40. That's $10 a piece. That's nothing. And it's tax exempt because we are a tax exempt religious and charitable organization. So when I tell Moors you're not buying nothing from me, you're supporting your charitable organization. Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. That's why I said I'm different than people. We are a real organization, and we can operate off what? Our donations. I don't use your finances for my lifestyle. I don't use your money to pay my damn rent or to pay my car or to go travel to some foreign country. That ain't what this for. All these funds, the majority, 99% of the funds go to building. Other funds go to reprinting the ink cartridges and things for I can keep printing the literature. Funds got to be used. If we a business, that's what a nonprofit really is. What? The funds that come in must all be used because we use it to run the business. If we paying certain people's salary at a certain rate, just imagine we get to a point, and I'm saying hypothetically, we a $10 million operation. We got. I want people to be able to have a way of living in our organization because we a business. We doing so much. I want businesses. I want to be able to hire people. I want to be able to do for money to be exchanged and stay in our community. Why? Because we need services. Any more questions? I'm done, man. We can build this. I'm telling y'all, man. And everybody will get a tax exempt receipt at the end of the year. More should be getting all their books from me, man. Every more should have all my books. Every more should have every one of my books. Be like, I gotta have them. Because when you send donations in, you can get literature. 100 more is giving $100 a month, man. That's $10,000 a month. At the end of the year, that's $120,000. You got to ask yourself, what all these Moors when y'all be going to all these lectures and there be hundreds of people there and they collect and they charging y'all $200 and $300 for teaching, and then a couple more months they do it again, and then a couple more months they do it again, and then a couple more months they do it again, and then a couple more months they do it again. They getting rich. Entertainment, and they giving you no literature. You supporting their lifestyle. Where's the temple? Where's the building? It's not one. That's entertainment. That's a celebrity. That's a for-profit organization. That ain't what this is about. I'm telling you, man, it's like your show on the road. I'm trying to show us how we can have subordinate temples that every Moor that's on here that stay in a different area. If it's 10 or 20 of y'all, I will come to your area. If it's 20 Moors and 25 Moors in the area, they want me to come speak, it should not be a problem for those 25 Moors to donate $100 a piece, which is $2,500, for me to come for 3 days to set up things because it's tax exempt. I would do it for you. For we can come set up, for I can show you how we get things under our auspices and how we can own things that's taxes and use our tax exempt status to get things and be under the whole different platform. And then we have subordinate temples and we have the base out here. Any more questions, man? We got 3 more minutes. We got to build, man, or what are we doing?
Build or die.
I mean, we got to trust something at one point because ain't nobody burned me. I ain't been burned by no scam artists with a fez on. I ain't been burned by no Negro teaching that Afro-syncter stuff like they finna do this. I ain't been scammed by that. I smell a rat. Come on, man. A monkey in a suit is still a damn monkey. If you want to educate, educate. Continue to teach online. Continue to teach. Continue to do what you do. If God is going to continue to be God. So I'm a God. This is my life. I'm going to continue to teach. But Allah showed me structure. And then you'll see who really serious about these teachings. Structure. Organize. Do it the right way. And don't be a burden on our people. And I know this is not a burden. Because I say Moors can fulfill their student dues $5 a day for 20 days. That's $100. Plain and simple. $5 a day for 20 days is $100. Bam, done. My dude's done for the month. And every time my noble speak, if he speak 5 days a week, matter of fact, if I just feel right, I want to give my noble a donation. Why? Because that's what we do. Because he giving the word. If you go to the movies, I bet you pay to get in. I bet you if you go to the movies 5 days a week, I bet you go to no movie free. If you go to the movie theater, you're going to pay. And all we ask for is a donation. And now I'll tell Morris is what's important to you. 1 more minute. We done, Morris. So I hope everybody really be serious about what they doing and become students and members. Because we building in a minute, we're going to be gone. And people just going to be looking like, yep, the noble, they did everything they said they was going to do. Because we are a body and we have the power. And it's strength in numbers. It's group economics. We can do everything, and we fall under a particular tax code. And all the religious laws protect us to do everything legally and lawfully. But we must fall under auspices. Any more questions, Morris? We almost done. We got about 20 seconds. But thanks for the donations, man. Morris, if like I said, I'm not shipping nothing out right now. Everything is locked down, so please be patient with me. You know, a lot of stuff I don't want to ship out. You shouldn't be accepting anything. And that was one of the things I really wanted to talk about is don't accept a package from nobody. Man, you got these people at Amazon, all these places coughing over stuff, doing all this goofy stuff. Don't accept nothing if it ain't life-threatening, if it ain't your medicine or something, because you don't need nothing right now. You shouldn't be going nowhere. You don't need nothing from nobody. You don't need no jewelry. You don't need no nothing. Hard on that. Be smart. Don't be greedy right now. Be smart. Because if somebody's shipping something, they got to go to a place. And then you don't know what people doing. Just like when we go to restaurants and eat. We're trusting somebody that they ain't spitting or doing something nasty on our food. We're trusting that these restaurants are clean. So what am I saying? Be smart. And in these times right now, be smart. This ain't the time to be trying to hustle and sell nothing off nobody. This is the time to just sit back, make sure your family okay. Spend time with your family, do the things that we should have been doing, and that's taking care of our mind, body, and spirit. That's eating right and not going back to garbage. We should not go back to garbage. You have seen a clean glass in front of a dirty glass. We shouldn't go back to the garbage. We shouldn't go back to listen to all that stupid stuff. Moorish talking all this stuff, arguing over who is this, listen to these stupid Moorish TV shows. And then one of my elders said, Noble, this is what one of my elders said. He said, okay, we know all the schools and the churches and stuff shut down and all that. He was like, but okay, if these brothers say they sheiks at the Moorish Science Temple, why they're not in their temple by themselves? One, clean the temple up. One, why they ain't in their broadcasting doing their times by themselves? Why they at home and at their table talk about they teaching something and you got a temple? Why you ain't there by yourself in your temple? Just like if you was a captain of a ship. The captain don't jump off the boat. The captain supposed to stay there with the ship. Am I right, Mom?
Yep.
See, I correct the teachings. The people don't have to go. You should be able to broadcast and use technology. You should be in the temple. If you say you some sheik, if you say you the sheik of the Moorish Science Temple, why are you at your table? Because I don't have a physical temple no more. My mother told you we had a temple out here. We was paying it out our pockets. I said I wouldn't do that no more. Allah said bring the people together again. That's what we doing. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? Y'all understand what I'm saying, Moorish? Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch that? Brothers say they sheiks of Moorish Science Temple of America. And I say that's fine. You should want people coming to gather at your temple because, yes, disease is being spread. People coughing. That's fine. But if you are the sheik of that temple, why you ain't there broadcasting, doing Sunday school and doing civics by yourself, broadcasting on the internet? Why you ain't there at your temple? Because the doors ain't closed for you? Because if it was me, once I had a temple, I'm there cleaning it up with my mask on. I'm there sanitizing the temple for the doors of our temple open again. It's going to smell good. It's going to be clean. I sterilize it. I make sure we made our temple right. And I'm going to be in there every Sunday and Monday delivering a message to the teachings, viewing it live. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? Because if you're the captain of the ship, the captain don't jump off the boat with the people that's leaving. He trying to guide that bad boy to safety. Y'all ain't listening to me. Are y'all listening? So that's done with that, man. Like I say, Moors, inbox me. If Moors are not students, I will be deleting certain individuals. It's not personal to me because if you follow these teachers, you should want to be part of this. If not, that's your choice. My email is Goodman, GOODMAN, Khary, KHARY, @gmail.com. Once again, if Moorish, you better inquire, hit me up, tell me something. If not, most people that's on my page following, you will be blocked. No disrespect to nobody. My email is Goodman, GOODMAN, Khary, KHARY, @gmail.com. I love y'all. Become students. Islam.